Welcome back to my new video. This video, I'm going to show you how to use LangChain. And what is LangChain? It's just a framework for developing applications powered by large language models. And if you come to their documentation, you realize that according to them, they believe that the most powerful and differentiated applications will not only call out to a large language model via an API, but will also be data aware. That means they can connect these large language models to other sources of data. And it's also agentic, meaning that it allows large language models to interact with different environments. Okay, so that is the principle behind the reason why they develop such a framework. So they have certain models and concepts. So according to them, you can see that they have models like models, and they have prompts, they have memory, indexes, chains, agents, and callbacks. Okay, so I think I've documented this um, in a very simple way. So if you look at the models, they said they have various model types, and their model integration supported by LangChain. Example of these models are BERT, GPT-3 and 4, Lambda, Palm, Llama, and so on. And then the prompt, it's just the input we give to these large language models. And then with memory, um, it helps the large language models to remember previous interactions. Okay, so that is the idea behind memory. And it has another concept called indexes. So indexes is combining large language models with custom text data to enhance their capabilities. And the concept of chains is that a chain can be created, for instance, that receives input from a user, format it using a prompt template, and subsequently transmit that formatted reply to a large language model. So I'm going to go details into some of these things in subsequent videos. And the agents are based on the user input, and then the agent may determine which of these tools, if any, should be used. So for instance, you query a large language model to do some arithmetic or some algebra or some mathematical operations for you. If the large language model is not able to assist, it has to deploy the agent to move around its environment and look for the appropriate tools that can do that mathematical operations. So that is the idea behind agents. Okay, so the agents go out there, look for the appropriate tools to do the right job. And then callbacks, it's useful for logging, monitoring, and the whole concept of observability. That is the idea behind it. So I'm going to also show you how to install large LangChain. And there's also a concept of text embedding models. So these are some example of text embedding models that we'll be looking at going forward. Yeah, so I'll put the introduction here. So as you can see, agents, they are using large language models to determine which actions to take and in what order. Okay, so the tools, they perform specific tasks like doing Google search, database lookup, large language model maths, Python REPL, and all that. Okay, so I'll put the intro here, and then we jump right into the getting started demo. Okay. So So I'm in my code editor. So what we are going to do is we are going to do some few installations. So I've already installed it, but I'm going to do it again. Pip install LangChain, and then we're also going to install openai. So as you can see, the requirement is already satisfied. So we don't have problem with installation. The next thing I'm going to run is this is the openai API key. This is how you set it to the environment variable openai API key. Once you do that, we can now start calling import from LangChain. So the first thing we are going to do is to get predictions from a large, getting predictions from a large language model. Okay. So we're going to say from LangChain dot LLMs import open AI. Okay. So once we do that, the next thing we are going to create another object called LLM is equal to open AI. And then we pass in any of these parameters. Some are default, like example, temperature, for instance, is 0.7. We can set it to 0. And then what else? The model name we are by default is text DaVinci 003. So we can say model name is going to be text DaVinci. And then the temperature, we're going to set it to 0. Temperature is going to be 0. Or we can even make it 0.9. Okay, increase it. Once we do that, the next thing we can do is to create a text and then say, what are the top 3 countries with the world happiest ranking? So let's assume this is the question we want to ask. And the next thing we'll do is a print LLM, and then we pass in the text. Okay, so that is all. So if I run this, so as you can see, the top 3 is what? Finland, Denmark, and Norway. Okay, so that is the result we're getting. We can also do something they called prompt template. Okay. So what it means is that we're going to create prompt template for our large language model. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to say from LangChain dot prompt, and then we want to import prompt template. Okay, so that is the class. And then I'm going to create an object called prompt is equal to prompt template. And then we'll pass in some few parameters. Okay. And then the first one is going to be the input variables that we want to consider. Input variables. And then it can be a list of variables. So we're going to pass in the first name and call it product. We can call it product. Okay. And then the template we want to consider is give a name to a new business about, and then we pass in the product string. Okay, so this is like a f string that you are passing in Python. Okay, so it's like more or less like a placeholder. Okay, so that is what it means. Okay. Okay, so this is like a placeholder. So let's run this. What did it say? Okay, it's passing the F string. We don't want the F string over there. Okay, so we are good. And then I'm going to print this and say prompt dot format. And then we'll say product is equal to. So the product we want to talk about is let's say fruit juice. Okay. So the question we are asking here is we should give a name to a new business about fruit juice. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. So and this fruit juice will be passed to this placeholder here called products. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. So let's run it. You see, they give a name to a new business about fruit juice. Okay, so it's a question. So let me put the question mark over there and rerun it. Okay, so this is what we call prompt templating. Okay. So that is just the basic introduction of LangChains and what is going on here. Let me see. Uh, Now, the next thing we can create is let's say we want food. We can say what are 5 vacation destinations for someone who likes to eat? Okay, and then we pass in the placeholder as food, and then we run this. Once we run this, we can say print prompt dot format, and then we pass in food is equal to dessert. Or we can say who likes to eat, let's say fruit. Okay, plural. So once we do this, we can now wrap everything, the LLM around it, and then we run it. If we run this, so these are the places: Hawaii, Costa Rica, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Bolivia. So now we can go back and wrap the LLM around this one too. So the question is, give a name to a new business about fruit juice. Okay, so that's what we are doing. So we're gonna run this and then run that. So you see the name it gave is Fruity Goodness Juice Bar. Okay. Okay, so that is the name it gave it. It gave to a business name. Okay, so this is like a business name. Okay. So I think this intro is good enough to get jump started on LangChain. From the next video, we'll be talking about combining large language models, which is derived from the concept of chains, and we'll be dealing with agents and all that. So we have a long journey, a long way to go. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Just keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.